Oh, fine people of the world. Oh, my chat's not on. No, it is. Oh, nope. Oh, I'll come on in a minute. Might not be logged in anymore. Oh! No, I'm working. Alright, so today I'm going to see how high that impedance analyzer goes. Because I don't remember. I don't remember how to use it either, to be honest. But if it goes more than 20 megahertz, I'm going to use it. Because I really don't remember. I got a fart! Oh, hear that? My mess. Scope probes. Alright. On this mess. Guess I'll just throw this over there and get this guy back out. Let's see. I don't even know if the CD drive works with this computer. I think it does. I need to put my things away again. Oh, it does work. Yay! Lots of dead space on there, but that's fine. I should probably read the instructions. It probably tells me to do something else. My monitor just got real dark. Oh, because this is popped open. That's better. The thing might go out. Alright, let's look this up. Mag roller. So this is an EVAL AD 5933 EBZ. User's guide. I just want to know what the frequency is. Probably not real high. Oh, excuse me. I really don't know. I will just install the software. Try to find some on, I think it's Applied Magnetics. No. That's a different one. Alright, I want to install this software. My camera might quit. I'm trying plugging this into the board. Let's plug it in. Let's just see what happens. Oh, I would like. Uh-oh. What's in the bottle? Secret sauce. I can tell you though. Do you see the little flickering going on in there? The real question is what do you think it is? That's what I want you to answer. Before I tell you. I'll tell you what the liquid is. The liquid is just regular old regular old, well, this stuff is double distilled water, I guess, but it's regular distilled water. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm trying to add a screen capture here. There we go. Okay. This might get confusing. I mean, I've confused myself, but graphene. No, not graphene. Keep guessing. I'm gonna make you do some homework. Guess for a while. By the way, the experiment is I need the time-lapse footage to find out what's going on. But the experiment is that I'm trying to measure and see the moving magnetic field. Isn't that interesting? I don't know what I'm doing right now. Not a clue. Yeah, I know. Well, I'll tell you what it is. I'm not going to tell you until the end of this stream, so I'm doing that for a very purpose. Don't get mad at me. Just remember to remind me. What value is that? I really don't know. That's fine. You just tell me when you're ready to go to bed. I'll make that deal with you. That's a 2.2K on there. Start frequency 5. Like that 100. Okay, that's right. Let's try it. Is it? Oh. I got a fart. Isn't that disgusting? Alright. There's our calibration curve. 9 bits. Start frequency. Let's put it at pretty high. Try it again here. It only went up to that. remember. So that time it started at 1,000, went 10, so increments. Okay, we'll do 1,000. So it only goes to this range. Oh. There we went to 100,000. There's a bit of a flop right here. I don't know what that's about. Okay, I think it's going to need to go a little slower to measure this coil, but let's just see what happens here. I'm going to be measuring this coil. So that technically was a calibration. So now I'm going to measure this coil. These leads are not very good. Oh, clipped on there good though. I found a do something different here though. I found a good supplier for my wire I'm going to be getting. It's not too expensive. That on there, now I got something to clamp on too. Alright. I don't know. Let's just run this, see what happens. Boom! Wow, that's really low. That's the resonant peak right there. What I'd like to do is go further than that. I want to see how high it'll go. I think that's like the highest it's gonna go. Oh, I went further than that. Oh, see, that's kind of what I want to see. Let's bring this. Oh, that must be the maximum frequency there. Yay! That's actually what I wanted to find, but it's inverted. Okay, so that's max. If I do it now, it's basically going to go way out there. Well, the local supplier that I was trying to get a hold of just hasn't responded, so I may have to do something different there. Uh-oh. Locked up. Oh, the little dialog box popped up on that side. So, delta frequency, we're going to go real low. We're going to put it at 10. No, mouse, don't lock up on me. Let's put this at 10, so that will mean 10 times 10, I think, is what we're going to be measuring there. So it'll be in the low range. I don't quite understand why this peak is here if it's way up there. Setting time cycles. Oh, okay, so it checks it more than once, I think. No, I think the local supplier is going to be more expensive if I do that. Strangely enough. But I found an online company that will ship it for free, so actually it doesn't really matter. Okay, so for some reason this did not go back down. Oh yeah, it did. It did. I'm sorry. So let's put this at yeah, well, I couldn't find but maybe two actually, and one company had to buy it from somebody else. The MWS wire or whatever, they haven't responded to a single email I sent them, so I'm kind of done with them. But I might call them Monday, because I want them to wrap the wire for me. Be cheaper. I mean, better if they wrap it for me. Otherwise, I'll have to wrap it all myself. It's a lot of wire. Oh, this silly thing keeps popping up on the wrong side. So I'm trying to measure the impedance. There's a couple of peaks there. $10 a pound. Yeah, see, $10 a pound though is average for most general sizes. You can actually get it for cheaper than that online. Let's see. I'm gonna run another calibration here. I'm going to put this on quadruple. Okay. I'll look this back up. And go. I'm trying to find out if I can get this coil of wire to go into a series resonance. So this is the self-resonant frequency of the coil right here. So that's like right in the middle of 2 and 4. It's like 3 kilohertz. Yeah, thanks, Steve. So it's this, I don't know what this chart is. This is the phase in degrees. I don't quite know how to read that. Must be the phase shift of the current and voltage. But why does it do this? I wonder if you can slow it down. Number of increments. Let's see, 100. That brings you up to 10K. Delta frequency. I don't remember what these two were. Let's put this at 1, not at 100. Now it's going to probably take a while. No, oh, okay. I want to put that at 10. And I put it at 1. So we got 1 to 0.1. So that is the points in between. Number of settling time cycles. Let's put this at like 200. I want it to really be a good measurement. Okay. So we put this back to 10. We'll be at 2,000. Put it at 100. We'll be at 10,000. I'm going to do it every 10 hertz. I'm going to start at 100. Let's actually start at 1. Or actually 10. So this might take a while. Let's see what happens here. Yeah, Steve, it's an analog devices evaluation board. I think it's designed for people who want to use their chips in their actual devices. So they put these prototype boards together, and you can buy them for like pretty cheap. So this is a network analyzer, not really a spectrum analyzer. It's a network analyzer. And I use it for Stan Meyer's stuff. This should give us a really good graph. Then we can download this graph. It's gonna be a lot of data. So I was gonna do this by hand, but I decided to rip this guy out and see if we can get it to work, and it works pretty well. It went negative. It didn't read right. Let's put this back on. 20. Let's sweep it again. It started at a negative. Why did it start at a negative frequency? That I don't understand. So I can drop a piece of iron in this coil and see how it changes. I wrote a document and I posted it on the forums. Okay, so that worked pretty good. So it'll only do so many cycles. So if we do 100, it should be 10,000. And let's put this at like 50. So so I wrote this thing. Oh man, I wrote this thing. You should go read it if you're interested. But if you haven't read Newman's book, then you shouldn't read it, because you really have to read it. Okay, so these things match pretty well every single time. Okay, let's only do this at like half of this, so it'll only go to 5K, right? And what we're going to do is we're going to put a piece of iron in there, or maybe a magnet, and we're just going to see how it affects it. Yeah, that's right, Steve. You are correct. Right there at 3K. But there's a second one. There's a second little point there. So I'm just going to stack these magnets on the top, maybe. I'm just curious if it changes anything. You downloaded it, but you can't open it. You probably need a PDF, don't you? I was going to attach it as a PDF, but I already posted it as a doc. I need to edit a few minor piddly things. Well, it didn't change anything. Oh, it did. It made a dip here. So maybe it raised this up. I don't know what it was before. So look, this coil is roughly ohm meter 13.81. So it's roughly somewhere in this range. Wait, 13. Oh, it's way down here. It's in this range. So look how high the impedance is. So if I try to insert a signal at that frequency, it should pull the smallest amount. Oh, it shifted up. You mean impedance this direction? So look, we're right at 450 to whatever. This one's 2500, just above 2500. This one just above 4500. So let's take that back off and run it again. Oh boy, these are some strong magnets. Oh, I'll hurt myself. So let's just see what happens. No, it shifted down. Now it's higher. So it actually went down. So let's put a piece of iron in there. Actually, you know what? Let's put a piece of aluminum in there. It'll add interesting things. Then we'll put a piece of iron in there. Went way down. Wait, down or up? Wait, it went up. And it shifted it. Ah, good. See, that kind of goes against, with what I'm trying to think. Let's take off the aluminum foil off this. I want to wrap it around this coil. I want to add capacitance to this coil. By adding capacitance, I actually shifted the phase up. Which is okay. We'll try to shift it down later. And then I need to ground this so it really adds some capacitance. Oh boy. Oh, I should check that delay line too on that. Alright, let's just see what happens here. I think I'm gonna flip this upside down. That way I can wrap this around it. So we should add external capacitance, basically. So I took the core out. Let's just see what happens. So we're at almost 700,000 ohms impedance. Wow. And it shifted. It was right at 3 and now it's a little higher. I can save all this data, Steve, but actually I'm just trying to get my mind wrapped around what happens. And I was actually hoping to see something a little different. Ooh, look at that. Look how high I raised the... I mean, everything went way down. So I lowered this peak way down. So now what I want to do is I want to change the frequency. I'm going to try to sweep a much broader range here. Because I actually wanted the capacitance to be there. More capacitance, or, you know, what I'm trying to do. But what I'm trying to find is I want to see stuff over here. And I'm not quite seeing that. Let's put the core in there. Should be even worse. So again, these are aluminum. So that was 500,000. It's hard to tell. It may have shifted, but let's see if I can go even more. Let's just make it max out. I want to see how. I want to see the whole spectrum, but you can't scan every single point, so it's kind of hard. But so that's 500,000. Let's see if I can go another one. I don't know if it will let me. I was hoping that I could get if I could see something different here. Oh, that's a mess. I don't know what this is, but let's try something. Let's start at 1 plus 6 zeros, so that's 100,000, I think, right? So we'll start at 100,000, bring our delta back down to 50, we'll sweep that small range. Oh, sometimes this doesn't register right. Maybe it did. Let's bring it back one, add another. Okay, so that's I think I'm way low, huh? Okay. So, put this back at 10, put this back at 50, no, I need to be at 500. That's what I got the live stream recording for. I can always go back and look, right? Sort of. I'm very, very tired, but I really was hoping to have this coil do some other things what I was looking for. So look, the core actually made it go back up. Alright, it was all the way down. Oh no, it went down. It was at 200,000. So now it should go up. So, okay. Oh, wait, it's at 13,000 now. Remember? It was at 3,000. See? Did it really shift it that much? Let's try it again here. It may have measured it wrong. Whoops, it's thinking. It might have measured it wrong due to the when you reset this, sometimes it takes a couple of times for it to come back to where I put it. I don't know why. I think I'm going to hook up that, remember we had this tube yesterday. We said the resonant frequency was what, 220, no, it was right at 20 megahertz. Yeah, see, it shifted back down. Okay, let's try something. Let's hook up this and see if the, let's set that aside for now. Let's just see if this is actually have a resonant peak at the frequency that we thought it did. Because I think that's an interesting thing. I'm just gonna short the coil out completely, I guess. The magnet biased the impedance. I'm going direct. It may change the results, but let's just see what happens here. We need to go with a much higher version though. I like this analyzer. I have rarely ever used it because I didn't know what I was looking at, to be honest. I didn't really quite understand in my head. Oh, that's not right. Let's do it again. It did go up to 500,000 though. Wait, that's 500,000 hertz. What is 20 megahertz? It's higher than that, right? Should at least max it out. That says 500,000, so that's 500,000 hertz. Error completing sweep. Check my values. Try it again. There it goes. Oh, look at that. That's it, right? That's the range. Let's see, 20. So we're going to start at 15, and then that's hertz, kilohertz, megahertz. I won't go that far. Okay, let's just see what happens. Did it error out? So I think I can start it. I just have to. That's a weird one. Change it, isn't it? Okay, let's put this at 9. I can. I just need to. Oh. Isn't that it right there? I don't even know how high the frequency can go. I mean, there's another peak here, but you see this double peak? I actually like that because it tells me kind of what I'm looking for. Right there. Look at that mess. Put that at 100. Will it do it? 2 megahertz. It's 2e to the 6. 2.5 e to the 6 here. I have such a hard time converting these. I wish I could change that. Wow, the impedance is like off the charts there. Okay, well, that's fine. I was just kind of curious if it would kind of function the way that we kind of thought it might. Honestly, I'm not that important. Now, what I'd like to do, I'm going to roll this back up so we can kind of protect this little guy. I got Teflon on the outside of it there. I want to see if I can measure this roll. I don't know if the inside's sticking. Oh, it is. Okay, cool. So I can actually measure this. Because this is a really small wire. And quite a bit of it. So this will be a good coil to test. So let's try impedance testing this guy. This is actually silver coated. And now, look at this one. Alright, let's put all this back to its... I'll put that at 100, we'll put this at 500, see what we get. Alright. Pretty flat, nice peak right there. What's that at? That's at 5. Now, you know, we should hook this up to the signal gen and just kind of play around with these things. So, 5. Why did it start so high? Let's sweep it again. That doesn't seem right. I started down here at 100. There we go. The scaling, the chart didn't quite work. Whoa! Let's go even bigger. Huh, that's about the same impedance. Wait, is that 20? That's 25,000. Okay. Let's go even more. I don't know if these numbers are right when you get past a certain point. I don't know how high it can actually go. Yeah, see that? I don't think that's right. I think that's a mess. So now, let's try a ping test with the oscilloscope. What is that mess? Let's turn the scope on. Higher Henrys. It's probably got. It's a bigger coil, but it's actually probably got less turns by far, by like a lot. Let's put this back up to 500. We start at 100. We'll sweep it and see where we land here. Oh yeah, so it's pretty low there. So let's say I cannot lose that resistor. So that's 10. So we got a little peak there, and then we got this really nice peak. So let's call this start at 1,000, and we'll do less, basically, more for less. This will get us a better peak. See exactly where we're at. Yeah, it's larger wire, like a lot larger wire. I just thought it was 38. Oh, this thing keeps popping up on the other side. Oh, let's put this at 100. So that'll go to 10K. And I think it was right above 10K, wasn't it? Right there. Let's run it again. Yeah, okay. So now we're gonna start at 6. So we're gonna start at 7,000, and we're only gonna scan 1, 2. Let's see. So we need to do 20, I think. Let's see if that's right. It's not 200. Yeah. Okay. So now, for fun, let's do a ping test. Actually, let's go even closer. Wait, the whole thing shifted here. Let's do that again. This whole scaling. There we go. So I was gonna say this whole scaling got messed up. So now we're gonna start it out at 750. I'm only gonna scan for 10. I want to get really zoomed in on this peak. I kind of want to see where it's at here. That looks like crap. I don't really know what the number of increments is. Let's do... Oh, maybe I got that backwards. Number of cycles. Go back down at 10. See, it should go faster. Number of increments. That still changes that though. Let's do 100 cycles. I think this number of cycles is how many times it checks each point. So let's put. Oh, I can only go to 100. Actually, maybe I can go to like 900. You mean the number of cycles? You were talking about the number of increments. Well, the peak is right. Oh, it only went to 511. Okay. Let's put it on 200. The cycles is the time it repeats, right? Okay. And the increment is like the bandwidth, right? So I should be able to put this all the way up to 500 actually. It's probably 512 bits or something. Let's see what happened there. Oh. It locked up. We gotta wait for it. Okay, well, there it went. Bandwidth, so how far? See, I thought it was this times this. That's the chart you get. If I put 100, it'll only do this times 100. See, that's what I'm saying. It doesn't quite make sense, but okay. Our peak is right here. It's about 8,100. So let's just see if we can get a ping test working. I just want to see if this is reading right, because I doubt it'll even read the big coils I'm going to use. But let's just do a 12-volt battery ring test, and we'll catch it, and we'll see if it's that frequency, self-resonant frequency. We're just going to connect this guy right across this. And we're going to connect our 12-volt battery. And then we are going to just ping it. Okay, let's do a... Make sure we're reading. Ping. All right. And we'll do a trigger. Let's see. I want to do it on the. Huh. Can't see much there, can you? This might be the dead battery. Well, I can't capture it. Maybe it's not set right there. Huh. That's interesting. I would expect to see a really big spike off this coil, but there really isn't. That is a bit strange to me. The increments is the data points and recorded, so the resolution is of the sampling. The increments is the data points it recorded. Right, okay. 9-bit times 100 or whatever, that's why it takes so long to hire. I don't quite understand why this coil is not really showing me a ring. There's a little bit of a ring. Let's just measure that real quick. You know, it looks terrible. I am definitely curious if it's even remotely close. Oh, that's megahertz. We said it was down here at like 8100. So the ring, that's kilohertz. That's 2000. We are looking for 8. No, I'm sorry. That's kilohertz. That down there is in hertz, so really low. I am confused, to be honest with you. That doesn't make any sense, does it? Right, so technically I should see a ring. Wait, 8,000. Oh, I'm sorry. I should see a ring in the bandwidth of 8.1, so somewhere in that range right there. I'm quite confused. I really don't understand why the coil isn't like ringing. That's a big, I mean, that's a big huh. Oh, I changed the time scale. There we go. Oh, someone explain that to me. Something to do with the silver. Try another coil. Oh. I'll try this little one. What do we measure it at? Does anyone remember? Could have something to do with the silver. It's the reason I got it, because it was silver coated. Let's do this one. I'll take the foil off. Okay, we will try this one. Here we go. First of all, got these inverted. Maybe there's something on my scope I got messed up. It does feel very odd. I am not getting a ring. Maybe I'm just too tired right now. There's that very bizarre charging again. That is something that's real interesting to me. $2K. You guys thought it was around 2K. I think that was right. We can check it. Actually, let's try something. Let's leave the scope probe connected. Oh no. Wait a minute. Time out here. Did I break a wire? I broke a wire. Well, that'd be a good reason why. Well, but that up there was still okay. Okay, let's solder this back on. Gotta be careful, because if I break the wire off on the inside here, oh, we still got a little extra we can play with, but gotta be careful not to break off that wire. I'll be in big trouble then. I think I'm going inside here in a few minutes. I'm pretty tired. I kinda got what I wanted out of this, but I kinda want to just test that analog device's analyzer and see how it reacted with this coil. I did not see any series resonance, which is okay. It's not that big of a coil either, really. More solder. Wow, this stuff sucks. I thought this stuff soldered. Maybe it's got the high voltage insulation on it. There it went. Okay. Oh yeah, melt my stuff. As long as the battery's not connected, it'll be fine. Alright. I'm quite curious to see what this looks like. too high frequency. Don't see. This is a constant frequency there, but let's put this back on 100. Let's put this back on 50, I think it was. Oh, there, now you can see it sweeping. So there it goes on each frequency. Huh, it's cool. Higher the frequency, the faster the reading, huh? Okay, so we were here. I think that is about right. There was 2 peaks, but I don't know if the bottom is. You do, that's what I'm thinking. You do know that resonance cannot be measured in a direct looped coil. It must be on a coil cap. No, that's an incorrect statement. I am measuring the self-resonant frequency of this coil. I'm using the internal capacitance of this coil to find my peak resonance. That's what you see on my screen. As far as I'm concerned, now I could be wrong. But that's what I'm measuring. That's what I'm trying to measure. And this coil has a shenanigan tons of capacitance. So I'm going to sweep it again here. That's the whole point of doing this. Ah, there we go. Now the readings are right. Remember, 3,000 hertz. So now, instead of a ring test on this battery, we're going to do the opposite. We're going to take my signal generator, and we're going to oscillate this guy, and we're going to see exactly where it produces the biggest ring, and it should be right at 3,000. Okay, now if I'm correct, that is its self-resonant frequency. So let's do that. If I can get the connections off here. Alright, so we're going to remove the battery. We're going to fire up a signal gen. We're going to hopefully not blow it up. I'm going to pump a very small signal into it. Should be fine. It's a high impedance. I'm actually using 2 volts on that guy right now. Alright, so now we're going to hook up signal gen. Okay. You put a wire on that guy. Okay, now we're going to put the amplitude at only 500 millivolts peak to peak. We're going to put the frequency here, we got right at 2,000, so we're going to go ahead and set this at actually it's at 1,000. and we're going to kick it on. Ready? Boop. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we'll watch our amplitude. Okay, I'm going to scan. When we get to 2K, you can see the frequency down here. When we get to 2K, oh, let's see. We're measuring across the coils, so that actually won't work. Yeah, the analyzer and the signal gen and everything, it's going to change it. What I actually need to measure is the magnetic field strength. Because don't forget, what I'm measuring is the impedance, and the impedance is going to change upon the phase shift. Okay, right? So the phase shift, you can see, changes phase right there, changes phase right there, changes phase. So these peaks, technically, I got the signal gen hooked up to it, but technically, if I take another probe, put it in the coil, I should see the coil get bigger at those frequencies. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. Take the ground off, I'm going to throw the probe in there, and we should see a rise when I get to 2 and 3. Should. I don't know how. Oh, you know what? I need to pump more. Let's pump some more voltage into this coil. It was at 2 volts peak to peak on the analyzer, so we'll stick with 2 volts peak to peak. You might be right, John. I need to think about what I'm trying to measure right now. So, don't worry. I'm not shooting you down. I don't know what that nasty wave is on there, but we can measure it like that. That's my capacitance on the coil. I'm changing the actually, you know what, let's run the analyzer again before I'm done here with my hand on it, because look how much it changes the I wonder, I really need to measure peak to peak. Well, I could very well be confused, but I thought as he says, impedance only works in a closed circuit path. Well, as far as I'm concerned, I'm 99.999% sure that this spectrum analyzer, which is what's on my screen right now, those peaks are the impedance peaks. Those impedance peaks are due to the self-resonance of this coil. That is why they have the peaks. My problem is measuring it right now. I'm not able to measure it quite the way that I'm used to measuring it. Usually you can do a little ping test and you can get your answer, but I'm not getting that out of this for some reason, which is a bit strange to me. Something I'm doing is wrong. I'm a little tired, and that might be what's wrong with me. So let's try this. let's see if our green probe does anything different when we sweep it. It's going to be fast here, so. So there's 1K. 2K. 3K. 4K. So, for fun, I'm going to put my hand around this coil, see if it shifts. Measuring device adds capacitance in a closed circuit. Yeah. Well, I can agree with that. Oh, I moved it. It didn't shift, but I moved the impedance. So right here is 350,000. But what I'm kind of saying is this device is designed for this. I'm using it as it's intended, which is to find the coil's resonant frequency. Now, for your pleasure, I can hook a cap across this, and then of course we will change that. And actually, if I put a cap in parallel, then it will be series resonance. If I put it in if I put it in series, it'll be series resonance. If I put it in parallel, it'll be parallel resonance. I don't think it, unless it didn't read it right. I'll have to think about what you're telling me, because apparently I am confused. I mean, I know what you're saying, but I'm not grabbing it. My head must be very tired right now. I was tired before I came out here. Okay, I'm done. Oh yeah, there we go. Now it's shifted up. You'll have to explain that better to me. The network analyzer was made for traditional circuits. True resonance is not traditional. I'm very confused. As far as I'm concerned, these should be the resonant frequencies of this configuration, of course, including any capacitance. I'm pretty sure the way this analyzer is set up, it doesn't have any capacitance, because you actually have to add and calibrate that stuff. But again, I don't know. I really don't. I just don't, man. I just don't know. I can say though, I should definitely get the ping test to work. I wonder if my voltage isn't high enough. I'm not able to see it ring. That's okay. We did some testing. We learned some things. We played with this software, and yeah. What's in the jar? Well, I'll tell you this. It's a type of lead. It's not straight up lead. It's lead ore. Lead didn't work. I had to use lead ore. So it's microparticles of lead ore suspended in water. That's what it is. And if I can figure out how to not let the light play around with what's going on, or maybe it's not, it should show us some other interesting things, such as what's happening in the magnetic field. Told you you'd never guess. Yeah, I wouldn't have never guessed it. But I'm the one who made it. But I made it due to Newman's book. Making gold. So, I'm very confused because you say every device we have today was designed for a closed circuit. I have a coil across the analyzer. How is that not a closed circuit? And the way you're telling me is like you're really trying to beat me in the head and tell me that I'm doing something, I'm not thinking clearly here, and I'm like trying my best to be not confused, but I'm very confused. And this is okay if I'm confused, but moonshine. You might have to just send me an email and explain to me what you're trying to tell me. Explain the Abaha experiment. Well, I mean, in that circuit, I have a coil, then a capacitor, then a coil, so that's a closed circuit. I mean, technically, the capacitor isn't. So I really don't understand what you're asking me. I think I'm very tired right now, and so that's half of my problem. The cap isn't closed, and you saw true resonance. Well, what I'm saying is you got a coil, cap, coil. They're all connected. If you remove the capacitor, it doesn't act the same on the primary side. You need it to set up resonance. But if you take the this spectrum analyzer, and you connect it across those coils, like what I'm saying is, what I'm trying to tell you is, I don't need a capacitor if I'm using the self-capacitance of this coil. This is a fact. However, I don't know if this is reading what I'm looking for. But fact, yes. If you charge a coil and you short it out, and you watch the ring, that's the self-resonant frequency. Absolutely. But anyway, he says no because it's a shorted cap in that coil. I need to go to bed and think about what you're telling me. Thanks for trying to beat me in the head and make me think straight. It's not working. It's okay. I'll think about what you're saying. For some reason I can't think straight. Because you said no, because it's a shorted cap in the coil. Yeah, I'm just not thinking straight. I'm pretty sure I understand what you're telling me, and I'm pretty sure I understand the resonance is happening between the coil and cap in that case. But when I measured the coil with this spectrum analyzer, I don't measure it with the cap in place. I mean, I can, but I didn't. Not that I measured it right, but just saying. We will learn soon enough. I will continue trying to understand what I'm missing right now with this setup. If I add a capacitor across this coil, okay, if I add a capacitor across this coil and I test it with this analyzer, then there's no difference between testing it without the capacitor. Well, actually, like for instance, I can't really do this right now, but if I take a capacitance reading, I should be able to read an actual capacitance on this guy, because it's got high capacitance because of the way the coil is, because it's a fine wire and how many turns are on it. Actually shows OL, so it's over. It's actually over the capacitance that this meter can read. That's impressive. I don't think I have another one that'll read capacitors. Let's try measuring this one real quick. This one's probably got less, but it might actually have more. Yeah, so this one's 1 nanofarad. This one's probably a lot more. It's got a lot more. Well, it might be less, actually. I don't really know, but I cannot measure it. Okay. The cap, in the sense of the Abha coil, is real capacitance, not shorted. Well, anyway, I'm pretty sure my mind is thinking correctly, and I'm pretty sure your mind is thinking correctly, and we're just kind of like slightly thinking about viewing it a little different, so that's okay. Alright, I'm going inside and eating some snacks, and I'm tired. Thanks for hanging out. We'll see you another time.